Probably should, huh? Mingo's working, Steve, so he won't be here.
Okay. What's the Wi-Fi again?
Guest city, you're on conference, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Guest city, all lowercase.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Anybody here for public forum? Don't know.
All right, we'll have the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Liquor license.
Yeah, we just put the last one for the year, for now, it's Harmony Golf Club. Just looking for a motion for an approval to send their license in to get that renewed.
Make a motion to approve Harmony Golf Course liquor license.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Slight change to the agenda, our auditors will be here tonight, an emergency fleet and two, so they will be here in July instead.
All right. This will be a quick meeting.
This will be a very quick meeting. It was looking to be kind of like a longer one, but it's gonna be very quick. There was a last minute thing that came up today, so.
All right. Anybody looking over the audit have any questions or concerns? Okay. All right, we'll move on. LCCMR grant withdrawal.
Actually, do you have the new agenda in front of you? The LCCMR, they withdrew, or they actually were. They denied our LCCMR request, so I just pulled that off of
They denied us to,
funding,
oh,
because we had already submitted, so the LCCMR request, that was on the agenda prior, I pulled that off because it came in right after I had sent out the agenda and
so we didn't have to withdraw.
didn't have to withdraw from it at all, so, no, they made that decision for us, so we
All
might
right.
need those funds in a future project too, which is okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the EDA loan approval recommendation for Monster Match. I'd make a motion to approve that.
Second.
A motion second, any discussion? Good, hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
Okay. You saw my votes. Abstain.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Bring that.
So So, our splash pad has been very heavily used. It's been wonderful to see all these kids, active in there. While looking at some of our water consumption and, just speaking with Candy, it looks like there may have been a part that, from her understanding, was ordered or was missed. This part is a solenoid that would be installed, and it would allow for different zones to be turned on at various different times. So if they went up and pushed the button once, you might have one or two features come on, they push it on the second time, a different feature will come up. Currently, that's in your packet that I sent out to you. It's just a little over $2,500 for the piece. And then the installation quote is $2,500. At Park Board, they did approve up to $5,100 just to cover those costs. And then the Splash Pad group will be doing a little bit more fundraising. They were asking for a little bit of grace to get this in. And the Park Board approved that last night. So I'd like a motion to, and an approval to purchase that, to put that piece in, that conserve a little bit of water. Plus, it might make it a little bit more fun for the kids. It's not everything is coming on all at once, and they might get a variety. They'll be getting a variety. We did receive the rain curtain, I believe, today, and then we have the other two pieces on order. So once we get those, all the last three, and then this, if we can install that all at the same time, it would make sense because the park will have to be shut down. Get those last three pieces in, and then the park with the splash pad will be full.
Do you know how much usage has taken place in the last month?
508,000 gallons. And a little bit more, 508.
901.
Yes, 508, 901,
There you
from almost 109,000 gallons.
In a month, and,
go. In
and
2 weeks.
2
weeks.
We did 2 weeks.
From May 28th to the 11th of June. That's what was used.
Not much has been used in the last couple of days. It's a little cooler. The water is ground, it's like coming out of your hose. It's about 40 degrees, 50 degrees. It's pretty cold.
I drove by there the first time I had seen people play, and I was driving down the highway. So I came around the backside, and the kids were over on the playground equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and splash pads running.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there, and I thought, oh my God, it must be stuck. And so I got out of the truck, walked over there. By the time I got over there, it shut off.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
thought, that's a long time running with nobody.
Brian, some kids will
He
go
said-
over,
he
yeah.
said you can't. I couldn't set it any lower.
It has been, it's been set lower.
I think
Oh,
they've
it has,
done,
okay.
Yeah,
so you guys
it's-
have set that a little bit lower, haven't you, Jerry? Yeah,
It's down to about a minute, a little over a minute.
a little over a minute now. Yeah, just
Just
not every bucket might dump the way it was at the 3-minute mark, but,
But if they don't push it again, it will.
but it will, yeah. So, so there's been adjustments since day one,
Good.
on the usage. And then, also the park board, last night too, in, speaking about this piece, currently I shouldn't say currently, we've adjusted the time according to park board, recommendation last night to move the times from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They had been on, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And kids have been there, I mean, families were grilling out and cooking until, when it was really, really hot, until 8 p.m. But, we've adjusted the hours now from 11 a.m. to 6
So I'd make a motion to approve the up to 5,100 to purchase and install these new items while the splash pad committee raises the money.
I'll second that.
A motion is second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Tractor update.
So the tractor's been in probably, it's been on Hamill's lot for close to a month or a little more. The fenders aren't needed, which were quoted in the original quote. So I talked to Eric yesterday, so he updated gave us a credit on the bill for the fenders, which you see in the invoice. Talked about the bucket because we're gonna keep the current bucket that's on it because that's a little bigger, a little heavier duty. Talking with Eric, that has been typically he orders a bucket in and just keeps that one and puts it with the trade. So it's kind of figured into the cost the way I understand it. And he's crediting us back the $750 for the fenders, which would be a reduced from what you saw them quoted in the actual original quote. But then if you take the adjusted price, it's probably right in line for that. And then once the guys get it all switched over, they'll go get it and it'll be in service.
Okay. And the utility truck?
So prior, the way the council prior has done and the city has done is about every 10 years, you replace the half-ton pickups. So Brian's truck is due to be replaced because it's a 2014, probably put into service either early 2014 or late 2013. State bid pricing is a little bit strange right now. You don't get much of a discount like you used to. And the order banks, so they only open order banks at certain periods of time. GM does it, Ford does it, Dodge does it. You have a very short window to order. With that being said, Chevy hadn't released their state bid pricing for 2024 as of yesterday. Saxon Fleet put together what they thought the cost would roughly be for a half-ton white crew cab Chevy pickup. So we don't know what that price is going to be exactly, but this is what he came up with and thinks it'll be pretty close. He did say that there would be another opportunity later in the year with GM to possibly order. The other caveat with that is once you place this order, doesn't mean you're going to get it because GM, Ford, and Dodge have all canceled orders. So with that being said, if you look, and I've done some research online, and this is why this is in front of the council too, is there are half-ton crew cab pickups that we could possibly talk to McKean's and see if they can get us one for less than $48,000. And it would be here because it would be on the lot. But I guess what I'm asking for from the utility side of things is that basically a motion to order and try to get something within that price range that you see in front of you. I don't know that I would go state bid just because it's time to replace that truck.
And so it's time to replace the truck, but why are you saying not wait for state bid to come out? Or?
Because you can get one, there's ones for less than $48,000 on the lot right now. And you take the risk of losing out because state bid, like I said, you just because you order one doesn't mean you're going to get it.
Sure.
So we might be in the same boat. And then order banks, let's say the second order bank opens up and we order it and our order gets canceled, then we're to next year this time to replace a truck on state bid pricing.
So can we put a not to exceed on this one too?
Yep.
So what do you think that number is?
I would say that 50,000. I mean, they're on the lot. We'll try to do our best to keep it under the 48 for sure. we're kind of at the liberty of what's out there.
You said there often was discounts with,
They were more reduced.
their mortgage. Would that be the case with GMC later this year, perhaps?
Because this is based off of 2023 statement pricing. So the county purchased a Durango for a squad, and they just, when we did it, they wouldn't give us a price, and then it came and it was $45,000. So you're at the liberty of GM, Dodge, or Ford.
It's not as, it's definitely not as lucrative as it used to be. Statement pricing is not, that's,
What's the thought behind the crew cab?
To take it to schools and stuff.
Okay.
Since we don't have the old.
And I'm sure that'll help some of the resale.
Yes, it'll help on resale.
All right, I'll make a motion not to exceed 50,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion is second, not to exceed 50,000 on the truck replacement. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Citations?
yeah, so our citation. So I had, we had Kyle and Michael that went out and done a town survey, dollars per cent. And actually there's, so two, there's actually a third one. That still has an inoperable vehicle on it that is out of compliance, that had not been brought into compliance as of, even today. Just based on our process that is outlined in ordinance, something that I work with, that you approve and okay that we proceed with the citation and working with our deputy to get those issues move forward.
I make a motion to proceed.
I'll second.
Motion and second to proceed with the citation. Any further discussion? You don't see any problems with that?
Not if they feel comfortable that it's supported by ordinance.
All right, hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Culvert project.
So that is to extend the storm drain culvert that comes off of First Street up here.
Okay.
There's trees that were in the electrical lines that the guys had taken out, and now that sinkhole there is exposed. And there was a request to extend that culvert and get some of the, how do I want to say it, get some more land use out of it. So this is the bid from Al Torgerson to install that and grade it and seal it.
Is that an owned property?
The property is owned, but the storm drain is ours.
Is there a flow sheet out there too? That's in this track?
Probably.
I
Some,
thought I heard something about.
yeah, it could be. There's probably more history to that I am not aware of, but that was the kind of the request to make it look better than it currently does. It's pretty noticeable now.
Have to clean up everything in there too, right?
I think Al will dig some stuff up. There's some junk in there to get rid of, but he'll just pull it out and Corey or whoever will haul it there, so.
And are we gonna be responsible to make sure that this grass grows and everything's.
I think Corey will take care of that.
And I think the junk and the debris that's in there, I think that is where I heard that there was a flow issue with that.
Yeah, so I think there's gonna be some stumps removed to deepen that, to hold the water and it'll flow better. That's all in this quote.
All right, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. All right, anything from building and maintenance?
I think the only thing from building and maintenance is that the sausage maker at the wastewater treatment plant is not in good shape. Corey is getting some quotes to see how much that is gonna cost to replace. It needs to probably be replaced prior to us doing the UV project. Would be nice if we could have waited and included it in that, but we kinda need it so that we don't start ruining pipes or motors and everything else there, so.
Do you have any idea what
We-
that could cost?
He, I believe, has one quote that is just under $100,000 and he's seeking a second one because I think it's a little high. And I don't wanna say that that's the official quote right now, but I've heard that number, so I would say up to 100,000 probably, which is not good.
Any state money out there?
The
That
last,
should help.
yeah, so last month, everyone knows that our sewer fund is not very healthy. So last month, we had a debt service fund that we were actually gonna close and move do a transfer into that fund to make that, help that out a little bit. Probably have a third of that maybe in that fund. But then we'll also be receiving tax coming in, different taxes coming in after that to help pay for that as well. But I would actually have to look at the numbers to, when you get home with quotes, I can also check on other funding too. It might be able to.
Okay.
Did you want to talk about the Jared?
Oh,
Just walk around and quote from run.
yeah, I can. So the dethatcher, overseer, or power rake, whatever you wanna call it, as we look at the splash pad and other spots where there's grass dying, which is not a good year for growing grass.
Or when they dig up sewer to
Correct. So
repairs.
So this is for repairing, so we don't have to call in and spend money having somebody else come in and try to work that ground level and seed it and get it to grow grass correctly. So, I think this is probably a used one, I'm not sure. Because I think, do you remember what the one?
Is this a whole unit or something?
This is a whole unit. It's a walk behind unit that's probably 20 some inches wide.
Yeah.
That'll work the ground, seed it, so we can seed it back and grow grass.
Roger didn't indicate in his email today that this was new or used, but.
I just see NA on years, so that's the only reason I come
I
up
don't
with
know,
that.
yeah, I don't know. But this price was pretty close to that other, there's a company that
Discontinued.
discontinued making them, they still have them in their catalog, but they discontinued making them. This is very similar, I think, to that. One, but
Yeah, this is probably 22 inch, I guess.
Price wise, you?
price wise.
Yeah, price
Yeah,
wise, it's,
it's,
I think that was 2,500 or something like that.
it's pretty close.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Is it urgent? Grass can grow this year.
It's not urgent, but as you can tell, the one company discontinued making them, and who knows when the next one's gonna discontinue making them. So this would be a piece of equipment that wouldn't get used very often, a couple times a year, probably 3 or 4 times a year, but would pay for itself because you wouldn't have to hire Randy Barnes or whoever to come in and till that up and reseed it to do those things. So
It would come in really handy because right now the splash pad ground is so, everything's just covered. So if they were to go in and reseed that, like, this would help break up that ground a little bit, so it would be reseeded.
then you can do small spots, obviously. So
I'll make a motion to purchase the dethatcher.
second,
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go for a vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We were not provided a list of others, report, so. Placeholder.
Everybody sees the EDA report. Discussion. Chamber.
Okay, I'm Erica Tilges, and the
Yes, you
sign
are.
project is done, so phase one of it is done. Thank you to the city and the city workers for getting that hung up, and then, of course, everybody who donated money and all of what we needed to get that done. What I'm here to tell you is that there was an issue with the quote. We actually have a surplus of $3,000 from that project. It wasn't our fault, it wasn't Warren's fault, their rep misquoted both times we got the quote. So we plan to get a visitor center sign, or excuse me, not visitor center, we already have that. We're planning to get a history center sign to hang next to the visitor center sign, and then also one that says parking that will go over by the bank. We can actually buy 2 more signs, but we plan to put that money in a separate account. Actually, it's already in a separate account. So that as more projects come up, we don't have to try and figure out funding for those signs anymore. So since the city donated money, I'm letting you know that has occurred. Any questions?
Anybody want to clock back? So you keep it.
It's not the speaker.
Thing is eight.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
That's all we needed from the chamber.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Yep. Park board.
I think there's only one, let's see, we talked about the basketball court resurfacing, we're gonna work on that, painting, not resurfacing. The tennis court, we're looking into other options, because the resurfacing companies haven't returned phone calls. Tree program ends this Friday, Thursday? Thursday.
Orders have to be in.
They have to be submitted.
We expect the trees soon after fall.
I'm gonna work with the treehouse on that. We've only had
Yeah, 5.
a handful of tree orders, which for as many as we've taken down throughout the city, I was actually kind of surprised we didn't have more.
I'm thinking of a couple. Haven't acted yet.
I have a feeling that we're gonna have a lot of
Last minute.
last minute.
Yeah. When's this end up in the journal? Not until next week. Can we extend it? A week? Let's do that. Extend that then.
For next Thursday.
So the minutes are in the journal. People can see it. If they want them, they have to go.
Yes.
Extend it for rain.
Yeah, the 27th.
Extend it for rain as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we talked about the stuff that was approved for the splash pad, getting that to use less water. And we talked about trailhead park signage. So they're gonna work with coming up with a design and get a couple quotes on that as we go forward. So we'll probably see that coming up. And then we approved the purchase of the new kind of steel grills, 3 of them. If we buy 3 of them, we can get them for $355 a piece. So the park board committee would make a recommendation to purchase 3 of them for the trailhead parks. Now with the splash pad, there's been use on them. So we have a motion here to move forward with that.
I'll make a motion to approve purchasing 3 drills.
A second?
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That would be it for park board.
Library.
Library met last night. We didn't have a lot to talk about, but the summer reading program is off to a good start.
Arts board.
Arts board. So a couple things before Eva speaks, but you can sit down. June 15th, so 2 days from now, there is the Back Alley Jam Series. Ava Gross is playing between the Distillery Bank and Grocery Store from 6 to 8 p.m. So feel free to come to that. Fine arts scholarships were awarded through the school district last month to Maddie Berge, Eric Nevelainen, and Olivia Sethry. And the postcard project and fundraiser is underway, which is what Eva has headed up as a student representative for the Arts Board and would like to share a little bit about.
All right, so my name is Eva Hemingway, as you might have already heard, and I'm here at the Arts Board. And before I talk, I wanted to pass out a couple of pictures, if you wouldn't mind passing them around, of just some of the postcards that won our contest in local businesses. In that picture, it's in the visitor center, and they have been put into 8 different businesses. So what we had is we put out an application, where we put out the opportunity to submit postcard ideas, and we picked 3 of our favorite postcard ideas, and then we gave rewards to the people that won those, and then we got those printed out. Letterworks was generous enough to donate the first 250 copies of each postcard, and now we have those in 8 different businesses, and we hope that we get enough funds, and we hope that a lot of people enjoy them. And those funds will be sent into the Harmony Arts Board, and they will go towards artists and artistic events. So yeah, and we hope, at least I hope, that this is an annual thing and that people look forward to it. Yeah, are there any questions? No? All right, perfect. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
What a great idea.
Thank you.
They're $1, but you can give more.
Exactly.
That's suggested.
Yeah,
Number 2.
that's all for arts.
Fire department have anything?
The only thing I would say is the shipping container is here and on the pad and ready to go to hold fireworks.
And everybody sees the sheriff report. Anything else? Nobody has anything? We're gonna sit here until.
Oh, no, we're not.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Don't jinx it.